Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 Fiveable Cram previews for AP World History. This is preview night number 1, and if you were here last night, you know this is kind of like preview number 1, part 2, because we had a lot of technical difficulties last night, but thank you for tuning in, back in. We really appreciate that, and thank you for understanding. But yeah, we're going to have a really fun time tonight, and before I get started, I'm going to ask you guys to answer in the polls how you're feeling about the AP exam. We have a poll live. And we also have one that is asking, what unit are you learning right now in class? A lot of you guys have said on the poll so far, help me in regards to how you're feeling about the AP exam, which, yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's pretty valid. And then for what unit you're learning in class right now, I hope you guys aren't on unit 7, but if you are, you got 2 weeks, so I got faith in you. For me personally, in my A-push class, I know we haven't even finished, and we're not going to finish, but we're in this together, guys. We're in this together. But without further ado, I'm going to get started into the slideshow. And if you're just trickling in, hello. Hope you guys are all doing well tonight. But yeah. So before we start, we have to go over some community agreements. First, be supportive. This is AP exam season. It's stressful. We're all stressed. But it's never helpful to have someone mean. Just let's lift each other up. It's a good thing to do. Be patient. We have 5 nights where we are going to be together. We might miss something in these preview nights since we don't have as much time as we do in the actual cram nights. But please, if we do miss anything, just leave us a note in the chat and we'll go over it during our actual cram session nights. And if you have a question, make sure to ask that in the Q&A tab and one of our co-hosts is going to answer. And then be kind. We are all real people, surprisingly. But believe it or not, we have emotions and we are trying our best. We're all trying our best to help you guys get prepared. So let's just all be kind to one another because that's the best thing we can do. Okay. So before we get started, we're going to go over our cram schedule for the actual AP review. Right now you are at preview number 1 and tomorrow is preview number 2. We are going over unit 2 today, part of it, and we're going over part of unit 2 tomorrow. So if you're liking this format, make sure to come in tomorrow. And we are also going to have our 5 actual cram session finales, and those are going to be 5 days before the AP exam for 3 hours, and we're going to be going over 2 units each night. So we are going to be going very in depth on these. We're going to be going over SAQs, FRQs, MCQs, all the fun stuff. So make sure to tune into that if you want some good review for the AP exam. If you're liking this format, make sure to sign up. And we're going to introduce our hosts. I'm going to start with myself since I'm already speaking. But hi, my name is Mia. I am a junior in high school. I took AP World History last year. I'm a little biased, but I think it's the best class ever. And I'm going to be teaching units 2 and 7. And we're going over unit 2 tonight, part of it. So if you're liking that, make sure to come back to hear me speak about it. So yeah, I'm going to pass it over to Avery.
Hi everyone, my name is Avery. I'm a junior this year, and then I'm doing units 8 and 9, so May 13th and 14th, the last 2, and then you'll also see me at preview number 2. So yeah, very excited.
Hi everyone, I'm Miriam. I'm going to be doing units 1 and the finale, and I'm also going to be doing the second part of this preview.
Hey everyone, my name is Andy. I'm a senior, and you'll be seeing me presenting units 3 and 5, as well as tomorrow for preview number 2. Super excited to be working with everyone.
Hey guys, my name is Hamza. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm going to be doing units 4, my favorite unit, and unit 6. And I'm super pumped that you guys are here today.
And hello, my name is Peter Leonard. I am very fortunate to be the teacher host. I'm really excited for the next few days. And it's my 4th year teaching AP World History. I did the AP grading last year for the first time. I'm going back next year or this year. So excited to be with you guys here as well.
Okay, now that we got our lovely hosts introduced, we're going to go over Crowdcast. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with Crowdcast, but when I started, I was pretty clueless, so this is pretty helpful. Notes, if you like to take notes during previews or lessons, do that. But my tip for notes is that you don't want to write everything from the slide down. You kind of want to put it into your own words because I think that helps you retain information a lot better. On Crowdcast, there is a part, there's a portion called My Stuff. And after we finish the stream, there is going to be a replay of it in there. And it's also going to have all the slides that you can access for all our cram sessions. Group chat is going to be where you can talk with everyone else and you can share tips, tricks, and you can participate when I ask questions today. And then we have the Q&A tab. And if you have a question throughout any time during this, please go to the Q&A tab and ask, and one of our co-hosts is going to answer for you in the comment section of the Q&A. So there's going to be like a comment, and then you can click on that, and you can see the answer to your question. So yeah. For what are we going to do today? I just did my welcome, but if you just trickled in, hi, welcome to the preview. Hope you're all doing well. And then we are going to go over Unit 2. We're going to go a part of it. We're going to go over the Mongols and the Silk Road today. And then our Cram quiz, SAQ practice, and Q&A. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, we cannot talk about Unit 2, Networks of Exchange, without talking about the Mongol Empire, because the Mongol Empire was pivotal in helping facilitate the Silk Road. Now, who were the Mongols? The Mongols were a group of nomadic people from Central Asia, and they were led by Genghis Khan. Now, Genghis Khan helped unite and expand the Mongol Empire, and expanded up to South Russia. Now, I'm going to go more over this in the next slide, but for now, just know that the Mongols' tactics of expansion were intimidation and having a physically strong and knowledgeable army. Now, this is important because this is how they expanded, obviously. Now, the Mongols also helped facilitate the Silk Road and the trade on it. The Pax Mongolica was a period of stability in Eurasia, and under this, the Mongol Empire was united, and this allowed them to enact laws for the Silk Road and protect the trade routes and help facilitate trade. It's our little mascot. Expansion. How did the Mongol Empire get as big as it is? Now, the Mongol Empire, their soldiers from a young age were trained in horseback and archery, and this is how they got around. And this made it so when they were older and ready to serve in the Mongol army, that they were strong and ready and knowledgeable and all that stuff. And the Mongol Empire has a reputation, rightfully so, that it is very brutal and merciless. They usually gave the people they were conquering an ultimatum of surrender or die. And when they chose die, they did it in very brutal ways. They even used biological warfare. Now, obviously, this is all horrible, but I mean, it worked for them because, as you can see, it created a very large empire, and it spanned across Eurasia. It's huge. And I just learned this fact the other day, but did you guys know that every 1 in 200 men are related to Genghis Khan? I just think that's crazy because it just shows how big the Mongol Empire was. And can't talk about Genghis Khan without talking about the Khanates. Now, after Genghis Khan had a lot of children, and after Genghis Khan died, they were all trying to figure out who was going to succeed him. And they all kind of had different pursuits, so they kind of went their separate ways. And this is how we get the Khanates. And a Khanate is basically a region that is ruled by a Khan. And a Khan is basically a king or an emperor. Now, the Khanates, starting with the Golden Horde was in Eastern Europe, and it spanned to Siberia. And the thing the Golden Horde was most known for was it helped influence the modern Russian state and dissolve the Kievan Rus. Now, moving down south to the Ilkhanate was in the Middle East and spanned Persia, and they were known for ending the golden age of Islam. Now, during the Ilkhanate, Baghdad, the city of Baghdad, was sieged, and Baghdad was basically the cultural capital of the Muslim empire. It was the intellectual capital of the Muslim religion. And when Baghdad was sieged and all of it was destroyed, it kind of ended the golden age of Islam. Now, the Ilkhanate also had mass conversion to Islam. That was part of their reputation. Similar to the Chagatai, they also had a rapid mass conversion to Islam. They helped spread the religion. They were mostly unchanged, kind of irrelevant, but next we have the Yuan dynasty, which is my personal favorite, led by Kublai Khan, which I have to say is one of the coolest names ever. I just love the name Kublai Khan. But the Yuan dynasty was important because it was the first Chinese dynasty that was ruled by a foreign party. And the Yuan dynasty helped revitalize Chinese culture and open them to technological innovations from foreign parties. So we're going to see the introduction of the compass and paper money to China. Now, while I take a sip of water, drop in the chat, there is a poll right now asking what Khanate you would like to live in. I know for me personally, I would have to go with the Yuan dynasty, but I'd like to hear you guys' answers. So if you guys can answer that poll right now. Okay, a lot of people saying Yuan dynasty too. You guys are incredibly valid. Okay, Ilkhanate, that's also valid. No one's saying Chagatai. Kind of sad, but it's okay. Okay, everyone's agreeing with me, which I really appreciate. So I'm going to move on. Administration, or how did the Mongol Empire operate? Now, like I said, the Pax Mongolica was a period of stability in Eurasia under the Mongol Empire. And because they were unified under one force, this made administration a lot easier. And the Silk Roads fell under the Mongol Empire, and this allowed them to protect the trade routes and help facilitate more trade. The Mongol Empire was also known for their postal relay system, and the postal relay system basically made communication a lot faster throughout the empire and allowed information to disseminate a lot easier. Now, this was significant because at the time, getting information across a lot of places was very difficult, so this is pretty important. Religious tolerance. The Mongols were pretty revolutionary at the time for their religious tolerance. Unlike a lot of previous empires where they forced their religion and culture onto the people they were conquering, the Mongol Empire did not do that. They allowed locals to keep their culture and religion. And pro tip, if you're ever conquering someone or starting an empire, religious tolerance is the way to go because it keeps your people happy. And then finally, we have the caravanserai. And the caravanserai was basically kind of like a hotel or inn for merchants and travelers. And it was important because it helped expose the merchants and travelers to local goods, which they could then use along their way of travel. So, cultural exchange. The Mongols helped cause a resurgence in the Silk Road, and they helped facilitate the spread of a lot of different things, starting with disease. Now, this is important because, as you know, the Black Death killed, the numbers vary, but like 30% to 50% of Europe, which is absolutely crazy, and this was spread across the Silk Road until it eventually reached Europe. And it was helped spread by the Mongols as well through biological warfare. The Mongols introduced the Chinese to new technology. They helped, during the Yuan dynasty, they helped expose the Chinese to foreign technology. So we're going to see the introduction of new technologies like paper money and the compass to China. And then finally, the Mongols are going to spread ideas like algebra, but as well, they are going to spread religion. It is going to primarily be proselytizing religions. So we're going to see religions like Islam, Christianity, and Buddhism spread. Now, these are religions, or proselytizing is a religion that basically recruits people. It's not an ethnic religion like Hinduism, but it is actively recruiting followers. So during the Silk Road, we are going to see the Mongols spread all these things during trade. So historical developments, or what happened during the Mongol Empire. First, culture. Now, during the Mongol Empire, we are going to kind of see a progressive attitude in culture. Now, Mongols are going to have religious freedom, and this is important because it's going to help keep the people of their empire happy. And they also adopted local customs instead of enforcing their own customs upon the people. Economic-wise, because of the Pax Mongolica and the Mongol Empire being unified under one state, this helped make administration a lot easier, which meant that infrastructure could be improved widely about. And also because the Silk Road fell under the Mongol Empire, this meant that trade could be increased. Technology. The Mongol Empire had significant technological developments, particularly in the area of communication. We're going to see things like postal systems established, and this is going to help spread information at a faster rate. Skilled people are sent across the empire using this system of travel, and we are also going to see the spread of medical knowledge, different ideas, and Uyghur script. And also, this question, if you can answer in the chat, can you think of another empire that practiced religious tolerance? It doesn't necessarily have to be from this period. I know I have one in mind under one specific ruler, but if you guys, yes, the Mughal Empire, you guys are right. Specifically under Akbar, he was very religiously tolerant. Good job, guys. So proud. So moving on, Silk Roads. What caused the Silk Roads? First, the development of money economies. We are going to see the introduction of a lot of different money types, particularly credit, paper money, and banks. And now this is going to make trade a lot easier because it's going to give people the opportunity to pay in different ways that they previously might not have before. Caravanserai are going to allow merchants and travelers to stay in a place while they are traveling along the Silk Road, and as well, it is going to expose them to the local cultures and allow them to get goods that they can then further trade along the Silk Road. Transportation innovations. This is important, particularly the camel saddle. The camel saddle is going to allow people along the Silk Road to get along the Silk Road. And yeah, we're also going to see like horseback, all that kind of stuff. So what is this going to lead to? Now, the Silk Road is going to result in the rise of powerful cities where they're going to have a lot of economic activity, and they're going to be like economic hubs. So we're going to see things like Kashgar and Samarkand. These are going to be two of our largest powerful cities during the Silk Road era. There's going to be more demand for luxury goods across the Silk Road from different regions. People in Europe are going to be requesting things from Asia, vice versa, all that. Cultural and religious diffusion. As people and merchants are traveling along the Silk Road, they're going to get different cultural things from cultures, and they're going to be able to spread those. And religious diffusion, like I said, proselytizing religions or universalizing religions like Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam are going to spread rapidly across the Silk Road because it's going to be exposed to more people by merchants and people of those religions. And then finally, the spread of disease. Now, like I said, the spread of disease, bubonic plague particularly, is very important because it led to the death of millions in Europe. And this was spread through the Silk Road as merchants were traveling to Europe. They contracted the disease, got into Europe, and that's how an epidemic occurs. Now, before I pass this on to Miriam, I'm going to ask you guys a question. What do you think was the biggest impact of the Mongol Empire? If you want to drop that in the chat, then that would be great. Yeah, you guys are right about that. Disease was a very big impact. But yeah, I'm going to pass this on to Miriam.
Thank you so much, Mia. So we're going to get right on started. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is this map. So this is, as it's titled, Interconnectivity. So we're seeing a lot here. We're seeing that the red line is the Silk Road, and we're seeing how many things it brings across. We're seeing gunpowder, which is going to be a really big thing coming up in your next units. We're seeing the compass, big for navigation, and we're seeing everything. We're seeing a bank here, and it's really showing how all these ideas and inventions are being transported across the Silk Road. And then here we have a question. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to answer in the chat. What would the impacts of increased interconnectedness be? Like, what would this cause and why? So if you guys could type that in the chat. Yeah, culture and economic ideas. Exactly. Spread of culture. Yeah. Spread of religions and ideas. Yeah, those are all correct. It's going to be causing a lot of stuff to be happening. It's going to be meshing of ideas, and we're going to see a lot more of people who come together to advance in certain topics. And then we're going to go right on into the exchange in the Indian Ocean. So here we have a map again, and then we're seeing what's traded. So we're seeing spices, silk, gunpowder, textiles, and slaves. And then we're seeing the monsoons and the Strait of Malacca. So the Strait of Malacca is like the big trading area, and the monsoons, which we're going to talk about later, but they're really essential for this trade to be happening. And so the causes. So the end of the Mongol Empire, so it's time to say goodbye to the Mongols. And now we have knowledge of the monsoon winds. So the monsoon winds are seasonal winds that they really propel boats to either forward or back. So you're going to be traveling in season to these winds. And then we're having maritime technology, dhows, junk ships, compasses. So the compass, like we saw in the Silk Road map, it's coming back to play. You're using the compass to get around in the water. And then spread of Islam. Islam is the religion. And having Islam spread and having Islam become more of like a common religion is really helping give all these traders and travelers a common ground to work off of. And then here in the corner, we have the map. So this is just an example of a map you might see at this time. And so continued. So the effects are growth of trade cities. So Swahili city-states, Malacca and Gujarat. So the thing in common with all of these is they're right on the water. So you're seeing a lot more growth in cities that are by the water. And then you're seeing diaspora. So communities are moving away from their center, and cultural and technological transfers. So like I said before, you're going to be seeing a lot more advancements in ideas, and cultures are going to be meshing because a lot of different people are meeting in ways they didn't have before because of the boats. And then the adoption of the compass. The compass is really helping everyone to get around, to navigate. And it's really helping on the water because you're not following like a set path like the Silk Road was. So I have a question for you guys, another 30-second one. How do monsoon winds and diasporic communities connect? So if you could type down the chat, we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, the spread of ideas, that's a big one. Okay, nice. So yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of spreading of ideas and advancements in technology. Those are big things. So we have another question, so 30 seconds. What similarities and differences do you see between the two trade routes? So it can be the most obvious thing or it could be a little bit more niche. So make sure you type that in the chat if you can. Yeah, they both did facilitate trade, spread ideas, yep. Yes, sand versus sea, yes. And blend of cultures, exactly. So you're seeing a lot of similarities between these two. You're trading, you're spreading ideas, and you're also seeing differences in the fact that one's over water, one's over land, and you're seeing the utilization of these new mechanisms, such as the compass and ships. So great job. And we have another question. So why is it so crucial to understand trade to understand this post-classical period? Yeah, trade is definitely going to be contributing to powerful new states. Diversity and culture, yes, that's a big thing. Exploration, yeah. Developments, yes, developments of cities was a big thing. And cities are really allowing for these rising nations to become more powerful. And so now we're going to go into SAQ practice. So before we start that, we're going to go over what are SAQs. So there's three types of writing on the AP test. There's the SAQ, which is a short answer question. There's the DBQ, which is the document-based question. And then there's the long essay question, which is the LEQ. So how many SAQs will you be having? So you're going to be having three-part SAQs. So your first SAQ is going to be based on the secondary source. The second is based on a primary source. And the third or the fourth has no stimulus. So for the third or the fourth, you are selecting one of these. So you can definitely choose which one you're more confident in. And so in total, you're going to have 9 SAQs in all because all three have 3 parts. And you're going to be having 40 minutes to do this. So you got time, don't worry. And they're normally 3 to 4 sentences long, sorry. And here's an example of what a SAQ looks like. So you're seeing part A, part B, part C, and this is a stimulus-based one. So you're having a prompt up here, and it's a secondary source. And then it's asking you to identify one thing and then expand, and then choose another piece of evidence, and then expand on I think this is the one I had on my AP exam, actually. So, and then we're going to go on how to SAQ. So what my teacher taught me was ACE the question. So answer, cite, explain. So step 1 being answer. You have to answer the prompt. This should be 1 sentence long, and it should be based on the stimulus if it's provided. So this is like your mini thesis about the question. You're saying what you believe. And then step 2 is citing or giving evidence. So you're going to give a historically relevant piece of specific evidence, specific is the key, to support the argument in step 1. Make sure this does connect to step 1. Don't just throw something out there. It should be connecting to your answer. And then this is normally 1 sentence long. And then step 3 is explain. So this is connecting your evidence to your initial answer. So why is the specific piece of evidence you gave, why does it matter to the answer? How does it connect? And this is also 1 sentence long. So really each part is about 3 sentences. So now we have practice. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes and you guys can brainstorm ideas. And then once the 3 minutes is up, you can type in the chat. But first we're going to go over it. So this is explain one way the Mongols facilitated Silk Road trade in the period 1200 to 1450. So you should answer and then cite and then explain. And then once the 3 minutes is up, you guys can type in the chat. I'll let you know when that is. Okay, so that was about 3 minutes. So if you guys could put in the chat, that would be great. And then I'll go over some of your answers and I'll say what I wrote down for mine, because I wrote down a little bit. Providing safety to merchants to trade. Yeah, exactly. Pax Mongolia. Yep. Yeah, safety and stability along the Silk Roads is a great answer for this one. That's actually what I wrote. I said they created peace through the Pax Mongolia, which allowed for safe movement. Yeah, you could also say they like made housing for travelers and like caravanserais and everything. You could do that. There's a lot of options, and these are all really good ones that you guys have put in the chat. So nice job.
Miriam, can I also jump in real quick before you go on to the next one? I think that this is going to work. Let me know if you guys can see it in the chat. Can you see, I don't know if it's Chandra or Sandra, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Can you guys see that response right there?
I can see it.
It looks like, okay. What I really like about this one, guys, is for one, you have a really clear answer, but then also they're using that specific evidence to Miriam's point from earlier. And they also talk about the impact of that. And so they're saying that because they have that caravanserai, they feel safer to trade, which increases trade. So that's a really good example of answering citing evidence and explanations. I'll hand it back over to you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you. So now we're going to do another SAQ. You can never have too much practice. So this one is explain one similarity between the Indian Ocean and the Silk Road trade in the period 1200 to 1450. We had a question similar to this in the past slides, so you can think back to that one if you want. So just remember, answer, cite, explain, and I'll give you guys 3 minutes to do this, and then once the 3 minutes is up, you can type it in the chat. Okay, so that was 3 minutes, and we're going to be looking at some of your answers. Spread of religion. That's a really good idea to talk about. The Silk Road was Buddhism, and the Indian Ocean, it would be Islam. Exactly. And you could talk about how that connects each other because, sorry, it's similar because both of them are creating and facilitating the spread of religions. Cross-cultural interactions. That's a good one. And yes, facilitated the new spread of new technologies. So the Silk Road, we saw gunpowder, paper, and if you think back to the map, like religion again. And then the Indian Ocean was maritime technology such as the astrolabe, great vocab term. And then, yeah, those are really good points. I really like how everyone's using like specific evidence, like specific historical evidence. That's really nice to see. Diffusion of ideas and culture, exactly. Yeah, these two, they have a lot of similarities because it is both trade routes. So you're seeing a lot of similarities in that. Yes, spices, gold, and other luxury items. Yeah, if you look at the map for the Indian Ocean, you see that. And we also have like a little poll for you guys. And it's, do you like SAQs? So it's visible now if you guys want to answer that. I know it's a little late, we're halfway through, but we can see how you guys feel about them.
While they answer that poll, is it okay if I jump in again, Miriam?
Of course.
Yeah, I think that the one I want to highlight this time, you guys, you're going to see it on the screen again. I hope so. It's like, yes, there we go. This time it's from Yana. I think that, again, Yana does a really good job at not just having a really strong answer, but their evidence is really specific. They're able to show that comparison really, really well. So I think that you guys are getting to a good spot where you're using that specific evidence and you're really explaining why there's like a similarity there. Miriam, I'm going to post this next SAQ in the chat. Can you go ahead and read it off and then set the timer too?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, it is in the chat.
Okay, so our new SAQ is explain one demographic impact the Mongols had on Eurasia in the period 1200 to 1450. So if you guys could just answer cite explain it once again, I'll give you another 3 minutes. And it's really important that we have all this practice because the SAQs are a pretty big part of the exam. So just remember that. And if you guys could answer the question, that'd be great. And you can put it in the chat after the 3 minutes is up. Okay, so that was 3 minutes, and we're just going to look at a couple of your answers. Yeah, the bubonic plague, that's a really good one. It killed 10% of the population, which then decreased the demographics. There you go. Religious diversity. Yeah, all these answers are really good. The bubonic plague is a big one that first came to mind for me too. Like the first thing I thought of demographics, the bubonic plague completely changed the demographics as it killed so many people. Warfare, yeah. The Mongols warfare, that also changed demographics. Yeah, these are great.
Stop, Miriam. One last thought before you go on to the next thing. I think they make some awesome points there. I also really like how you said there that when you think demographic, you think people, and especially like population. The College Board is really specific with the type of words that they use in prompts. And so if it says social, you can answer social. If you see demographic, I really would think about population. So demographic, population, are people changing with their population, especially with like trade or especially with like even the Industrial Revolution?
Okay, so I really like all your answers, and we're going to move off the SAQ topic for a little bit, and then we're going to do a cram quiz. So what a cram quiz is, if you guys could scan this QR code, and then you can join the quiz. So basically what a cram quiz is, it's a short quiz it's not really a test, so don't worry, but it does have a lot of questions from what we've covered, and it's going to help you guys, yeah, thank you for joining, just like see what you've learned so far, and you can always figure out what you need to focus on a little bit more, which we can help you in the cram course. So if you guys could just scan this QR code, and we're going to start shortly. Okay, so we're going to start the quiz now. The music's always fun. Okay, so I'm going to reveal the answer to you guys, and we're going to see what it is. It was Hinduism. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So we're seeing the Mongols. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reveal the answer now. Yep, so the answer was C. Good job.
No, I wouldn't even pay attention to that. Hi, Jessica here.
Okay, so this is another question. I'm not sure what happened to the music. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reveal the answer now. And it was D. Wow, a lot of you got it right, so good job. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reveal the answer. And it was B. Yeah, a lot of you got it right again. Just think Pax Mongolia. Okay, we're going to go reveal this answer. And it was A. Wow, a lot of you are getting this right. This is really good. And yep, facilitating cultural exchange. I'm going to go ahead and reveal this answer. And it was C. Remember, Genghis Khan was very progressive in his idea of religious tolerance. I'm gonna reveal it. And it was Japan. Nice job. This one was a little bit tougher, but a lot of you got it right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and reveal it. So the answer here was D. This is a little bit of a tougher question, but still, overall, a lot of you guys are doing really well. And if you got it wrong, it's totally fine. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and reveal this answer. And the answer was C, yes, religious texts. That would be very important culturally. Reveal this answer. And yes, C. Like I said, monsoon winds are seasonal, so they definitely want to be going with the winds. Nice job, everyone. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reveal this answer. So the answer was A. And wow, a lot of you guys got this right, so amazing job. Okay, I'm going to reveal this answer. This is the last question. And the answer was D. And wow, you guys really ate that one up. So we're going to end it. Amazing job, guys. And we're right back to the slides. So we have our cram schedule. We have our cram schedule for AP World History. So this is the end of the slide. Sorry, this is the end of the presentation. But we will have another preview tomorrow night at 7 p.m. EST. So guys, you should definitely join. It's going to be hosted by our other lovely hosts. So it's going to be really fun. And then again, to reiterate, our cram schedule, May 10th through the 14th. It's going to be really fun. You guys should all definitely join. We're going to cover every single unit in depth. And then everyone's joined on the side. So I think there's a call to action for a survey. Yep, there's a call to action. So if you guys could fill that out. And thank you guys so much for joining. Make sure to follow Fiveable on all social medias. There is Indeed, I think, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So you should definitely follow at Think Fiveable to keep updated on any updates or new events. So
yeah. And Miriam, one last thing before we conclude for the night. First of all, the survey, guys, it's right below the screen, I think, for you. It'd be super helpful if you guys could fill that out. That helps us get better. That helps us get ready for tomorrow, then also for the actual nights before the crams begin. So please take the time. It won't take that long, less than 5 minutes. Please fill that out. The other thing, guys, send a lot of love to your host tonight, y'all. In the chat, you guys send a lot of love to your host. Miriam and Mia did it great. Really appreciate Avery and Hamza helping out as well. And then I will also say, guys, really, really appreciate your patience with us yesterday and then coming back today, because it was really, really appreciated. You guys are doing great. Any of the student hosts, do you have anything else that you guys want to say? All right, y'all. Like to Miriam's point, we're going to be doing this again tomorrow, same time at 7 o'clock. Please fill out that survey. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your evening, get some rest, and we will see you tomorrow.